Dear friend, welcome back. You have been probably told that scaling your business to 7 figures means grinding 80 hours a week and sacrificing your personal life. And it does mean for some because that is the path they choose. And now it is absolutely true that winning and being the best requires some sacrifice, hard work, and consistency over time. Now you might expect me to tell you just hustle harder. But that is a complete lie, because in this video we are unpacking the architect's blueprint to engineer and error-free operations, and I want to make you a promise. I promise to you that after you're gonna watch this video, you will have the exact blueprint to remove yourself from daily operations. You will have the exact blueprint to prevent mistakes from happening, to be able to stop working the 60-100 hours a week, to be able to finally remove yourself from the operation so that you can scale, or so that you can spend time with your family, drive your car, or do whatever you want to do in life. Now we will also uncover a dangerous psychological trap called the competence trap that is limiting you actively every single day, limiting you from scaling your business. My name is Antonin. I'm an entrepreneur who obsessively studies the histories, world's greatest builders. I enjoy pretty much reading great books, biographies, watching documentaries, really studying it, and that's really what I do all day long, other than running my own business. Now, I'm not an academic and I'm not a historian. I'm an entrepreneur who just enjoys studying history because he has found out that on this planet there are many of us who have been where I want to go and who are currently, or maybe I am, and they have solved the problems that I right now have. So that's how I learn from them, and I believe that we all can. And so let's get straight to business, like this Spider-Man. So if you are currently running a business with a small team, generating respectable revenue, yet you're finding yourself trapped in relentless cycles of 60 to 100 hour work weeks, you are likely suffering from what I call the control fallacy. You believe that no one else can do the job as well as you can. Do you believe that? And if yes, then this is going to be so valuable for you. The central paradox of scaling enterprise lies in psychological response of the founder to systemic failure. When something goes wrong at work, like a missed deadline, a bad handover, or a big data error, our first reaction is to get emotional. The founder extinguishes the immediate fire, means that you immediately solve the problem. You admonishes the responsible employee to be more careful next time. You tell them, hey, be more careful, don't do this again, or wow, why did you do this? It was so easy, and rapidly transitions back to their operational tasks. Has it ever happened to you that your employee or team member just came to your office or pinged you on Slack, hey, I have this problem, and you solved it, it was super easy, and you just tell them, hey, be careful next time, like this should not happen, and then you go back to your work and it happens the second day as well, and it happens afterwards? Well, if you have been in that situation ever, well then let's read through, because I put some very, very good examples of how people in history solved this exact problem and how modern entrepreneurs solve this exact problem. Now, this approach, while temporarily resolving the problems and the emotional tensions and urgency of the errors, leaves the underlying vulnerability entirely untouched. Operational maturity requires a fundamental psychological paradigm shift. Okay, transitioning from managing the individual to engineering a physical and systemic environment where such thing wouldn't even happen. Now, true business builders do not rely on human memory, heightened concentration, or sheer willpower to prevent errors, to prevent these problems. What they rely on instead, something I'll talk about in a minute. I remember exactly what that felt like before I understood this. Sitting in my own office, exhausted, wondering why business that was supposedly mine still owned by every hour of my day. I won't pretend that moment was easy. There were nights I almost lost it because I was the bottleneck and I knew it. And the shift that actually changed things wasn't some massive overhaul. It was small, one system documented once, and then I checked it off the list, and that single change freed up more hours than Yeah, or you're working hard ever did. And the grind isn't obviously the only process of scaling, it's just what happens before you find a lever that you can use before you systemize some parts so that it frees up your time so that you can focus on other things in your life. Because that's why I imagine what you want, because you're watching this video. Now that's exactly what we are gonna deliver. Well, I'm gonna deliver. Today, me and you, we will examine the strategy of history's greatest builders and modern titans. This is about achieving the best possible result. It is worthy goal to replace emotional chaos with automated value. By looking back at the wisdom of the past, I created a plan that has been triple checked to make sure it works and which will protect your business for future. Now, let's dive straight into step 1. The foundational, which I call separate the person from the system. It's a very crucial step, very crucial step. The foundational trap of amateur operations is the fundamental attribution that error, the tendency to attribute failure to human carelessness or lack of discipline. So like, has that ever happened to you? It has definitely happened to me when someone came to me with a problem and it was just very easy to solve, and I solved it. And I thought, well, you must be super careless, like your attention to details or like the lack of discipline that you have. It's like, why didn't you check it, you know? Like, no, but it's not that, okay? It's that, for example, they did not have a checklist to follow, or in the checklist something was missing, or it was not easy to understand. Oh, how many times that had happened to me when I finally understood, well, okay, it's not that they don't care. Obviously they care because they want to work with me, but they don't have a checklist. So I created a checklist and I was like, okay, well, they did not do this correctly. So then I looked at the checklist and something was missing. So I added to the checklist, and then one of them messaged me, well, I didn't really understand this on the checklist. So I corrected it and I wrote it in language that he understands, and then everything was okay, right? So those are very small tweaks, but that have very huge consequences in real life. Now, when an error occurs, the immediate managerial assumption is that the employee was negligent, but it's not possible to keep watching all the time. Sometimes that is obviously true, right? Some people just are, some people just don't have attention to detail, some people just don't care. But we are talking about, okay, if you have those people in your company, well, then they shouldn't probably be in your company, which, you know, the greatest entrepreneurs, that's what they say. But if you have people in your company who have attention to detail, but sometimes they still do something that they shouldn't really do, maybe that's because of you don't have these steps implemented in your business that we will talk about right now. So elite operators separate the individual from the mechanic, shifting the focus from who failed to what allowed this failure to occur. Shifting the focus from who failed to what allowed this failure to occur. That's a very good mindset shift and very important. During the mid-20th century, Japanese manufacturing consultant Shigeru Shingo encountered a persistent problem at Panasonic plant. Workers assembling small switches were frequently forgetting to insert a critical spring under one of the buttons, leading to costly product returns, right? Instead of demanding great concentration, Shingo engineered a physical constraint. He redesigned the workstation, requiring workers to place the two required springs into a designed silver tray before beginning the assembly process. If a spring remained in the tray after the switch was assembled, the worker had immediate, undeniable visual proof that a step has been missed, right? Very, very important. Now, this is actually a very interesting story. And it goes like, crucially, Shingo initially called the system Baka-yoke, foolproofing, but renamed it Poka-yoke, mistake-proofing, when workers expressed deep offense. So basically, he redesigned the whole workstation, right? He required the workers to place the two required springs into a designated silver tray before beginning the assembly process. So like, if it stayed there, the workers knew that they didn't put it there. Very easy, but very, very, intelligent of him to do such thing. He recognized a profound psychological truth. This one is good. Errors are natural byproduct of human nature, not a reflection of intelligence or dedication. This is super, super important, because sometimes you think, well, he must just be stupid. No. We all make mistakes. We're humans, you know? Has that ever happened to you that you're walking to your office and suddenly you think, oh my God, I forgot something at home. I forgot my car keys, you know, whatever it was, but you forgot something. Well, that's a mistake. It could be classified like that. So that's an error, right? But we're humans. That's normal, right? And that's normal in workplace as well. Now, the best thing to do is to prevent the mistakes, the errors from happening, not correct them after they happen. Prevent them from happening, not correct them after they happen. That is what the best of the best entrepreneurs do throughout history and in our current time as well. You shall review mistakes with honor and respect for your team. That's what this guy says. The burden of accuracy lies on the system's design, not the operator's intellect. Step 2. So this is another solution to your problem. The Post-Mortem Standard. When an operational fix is extinguished, human memory immediately begins to decay, warp, and rationalize the events that just occurred. Relying on memory days or weeks later to formulate an SOP guarantees that the actual root cause will be lost to cognitive bias. In the 1970s, the United States Army recognized that troops were failing to effectively absorb lessons from high complex training exercise at the National Training Center in the Mojave Desert. I hope I pronounced that correctly. In response to this institutional memory loss, they formalized what they called, which is very interesting, After Action Review, AAR. AAR, not ARR, AAR. The military established a mandatory facilitated debriefing immediately following training operations that strictly answered 4 questions to capture tactical data before memory decay. This is actually what people do at school with tests. Right? The protocol strictly addressed 4 non-negotiable questions. What was the goal of the operation? What actually happened? Why did it happen? How do we improve our next operation? And this was asked and answered immediately after they learned, after it happened. By standardizing this immediate debriefing, the Army ensured that tactical failures were converted into actionable institutional data before participants could forget or rewrite the timeline to protect their egos. This is the power of deep work, right? You must institute a rigid operational standard. The SOP must be mapped out and documented immediately following the event. Okay, so basically, what you do is that right after someone makes a mistake, don't wait for the end of the week to add it to the SOP. The best thing to do, of course, you should not do it immediately because you should be in your deep work, but writing it down on your to-do list that day and writing exactly, okay, I need to do this. And maybe to make it shorter, you can dictate it to ChatGPT and tell it just to rewrite it as a task. Hey ChatGPT, I have this mistake, this employee, blah, blah, blah. I need to edit to our SOPs, or this person needs to edit to our SOPs. And it needs to be done immediately, right? Because after a week, you're gonna forget, you're gonna think, you're gonna have to ask the employee, and it just complicates things. So adding it that day is what we see from history, the best thing to do. Now, step 3. Turn the fix into a permanent step. This one is so good. This one is so good. A conversation is not an operational system. When a gap in the process is identified, merely telling a team member what to do next time relies entirely on the future recall. To build an error-free operation, the fix must be hardened into a permanent, physical, or highly visible step in the workflow, right? Are you still paying attention? Are you still with us? Yeah? Good. On October 30th, 1935, Boeing debuted the Model 299, a highly sophisticated 4-engine bomber prototype at Wright Field. This is how it looked. It was an absolute unit of a plane. Very cool. During a demonstration flight, Major Ployer P. Hale, one of the military's most experienced pilots, who was highly trained, he crashed the aircraft. It was very, very sad, and it was like shortly after takeoff, and he obviously died instantly in the flames. It's a sad story, but what we can learn from that, because we can learn from anything in the history, the ensuring investigation, let me tell you the story and then I will talk about the learning. The ensuring investigation revealed that the crash was not due to mechanical failure of the plane, but rather a human memory failure. Hale, the pilot, had forgotten to release the elevator control lock prior to takeoff. So just because he missed something, just because he forgot something, he died. So remember when I was talking about putting the step, the error, putting the error as a step in the workflow. Because when someone makes that mistake, they will make that mistake again if they do not have a checklist to follow, if it's not visible and they cannot say, okay, I completed it, right? Because if this guy had something like that, which they will create for him, after a fatal crash caused by a pilot forgetting a single step, Boeing engineers introduced the former pre-flight checklist. You understand what we're seeing here? Forcing pilots to systematically verify critical settings rather than relying on their memory. The pilot was forced to read and verbally verify the checklist before every single flight, permanently converting fatal memory lapse into an unavoidable physical step, right? Super, super, super important. Your process must fundamentally after the environment. Your process must fundamentally alter the environment so that executing the wrong action becomes difficult and executing the right action becomes the path of least resistance. This is super important. And look, we are here to remove you from your operations or to remove you from your operations so that you can scale, okay? Either to remove you so that you can do whatever else, leave your business, or to remove you so that you can focus on whatever you want to focus on and grow the business. Now, this is one of the best things because people will always make mistakes if they do not have a way not to make a mistake, right? Imagine you're walking on a path and there is a hole in that path. Even if you put a fucking billboard there that there is a hole, someone, maybe a runner who's gonna run, or maybe a mom with a child, is gonna fall into that hole if it's a small hole and you cannot just avoid it. But so what do? Well, you put something in the hole so that you cannot fall in, right? And the hole could be small, like something small where your foot gets stuck. Basically, the best thing to do is to prevent a mistake from happening, right? Making the wrong action difficult to do and making the correct action the path of least resistance. Very important. It is not about having better memory. It is entirely about engineering your environment. I put this 5 times here because I just wanted to repeat it to you because of how important that is. And that matters to your offices, that matters to your communications online, that matters to your standard operating procedures, that matters to your client procedures, how you handle clients, how you handle customers, all of that. The better the environment, the better the workflow, the better the steps, the better the checklist, the less mistakes will happen, okay? And if the mistake will happen, then you have an easy way to correct the SOP, as we learned in this document. You will just add it that day, right? If you are finding value in this breakdown, click the subscribe button. It's a win-win scenario. You get deeper training on systems and YouTube pushes the content to more founders just like you, right? If you want more free value so that you can achieve what you want, this is the channel to go. Now, step 4, build a culture where mistakes get reported yearly. I love this one, so I struggled with this one. An operation is most vulnerable when a small error is hidden to protect the ego, reputation, or job security of an employee. If a system only alerts the founder when a massive catastrophic failure occurs, the operational debt has already compounded beyond repair. Think of your reporting culture like a smoke detector. You want it to beep at the first wisp of smoke, of course. You do not want it to alert you when the house is already burning down, right? That's a very good analogy that I put here so that you can really understand, well, if a mistake happens, I want to know immediately. If something happens, error happens, I want to know immediately, not after a month when, the compounding effect of that mistake already caused so many other huge mistakes. Now this is the CEO of Ford Motor Company. He was a CEO from 2026. The company was losing billions of dollars and he was at risk of collapse. So what did this handsome guy do? Well, he immediately instituted a mandatory weekly business plan review, which he called PPR meeting, requiring his top executives to color code their project sites: green for on track, yellow for caution, and red for off track. I mean, this is super amazing, and this story really maybe will resonate you, maybe it will not, but it definitely resonated with me. During his first weeks, despite the company forecasting a staggering $17 billion loss, every single executive displayed entirely green slides. Can you believe that? Every single one displayed entirely green slides, even though they're forecasting 17 billion loss. So obviously they were hiding it. They were hiding the mistakes. The cultural shift occurred during a tense business plan review when Mark Fields, head of Americas, presented a red slide regarding a lift actuator issue delaying the launch of the Ford Edge in Oakville. During a high-stakes executive meeting, Mullehy actively applauded an executive who reported a delay launch, a red slide, immediately offering engineering help rather than punishment to prove that surfacing errors was safe. Now he smiled and said, "Mark, that's a great visibility," and immediately asked the room who can help Mark with that. Now what that tells us? It tells us that true operators engineer psychological safety not as warm and fuzzy human resources initiative, but as hard calculated operational metric. They built a culture where the early reporting of friction as actively were rewarded, because when a problem happens in your company, you want to solve it immediately. You do not want people to hide their problems just to protect their own ego and just to protect their own reputation, because a lot of time, and that's usually what's embedded in our culture of people, and that's normal because we don't want mistakes to occur again, so we punish the person who made a mistake, right? And even if the punishment is just looking at them bad, making them seem bad in front of other team members, the best really thing to do is to reward them. Hey, thank you for saying out loud this mistake or this problem. It is very crucial. Thank you for that. Now let's solve it. Who can help X, Y, Z? Who can do this? I will do this, you do this, let's go, solve it, right? Obviously you don't want to applaud them for making a mistake. That's not really what you want to do. That's what I'm trying to suggest here. What we learned from the story is that you want to applaud people for bringing up the mistake, for bringing up the problem so that you can solve it. It's like, you know, imagine you're living with a person and in his room it starts, there's a fire. And instead of him telling you, he just walks out and goes for a date. And there's a fire. And you don't know about it, right? So you go on with your work and suddenly your room's on fire. Because he didn't tell you, right? Because he was so afraid that you're gonna judge him for it, right? You would much rather want him to tell you than not to tell you. Now, they build a culture where the early reporting of friction is actively reported. This is exactly why the true operators in our circle called this the red bead rule. Yeah. The review step. Very important one. Systems always become less organized over time. A process fixed on Monday will naturally degrade by Friday as an employee found unauthorized shortcuts, equipment wears down, or new variables are introduced into the workflow. Assuming that a single operational fix will hold its integrity forever is obviously a fatal mistake. It's a vulnerability. I know what you're thinking right now. Well, at least I think. I already know I need to review my systems, if you have any systems. But knowing is not executing. Therefore, you must actually schedule the review. Have you? Have you scheduled the review where you're going to review your systems and correct any mistakes and improve the systems so they work more seamlessly like a well-oiled Formula 1 engine? Have you? So this guy, respectable guy, Admiral Hyman G. Rickover, widely known as the father of the nuclear navy, recognized that in highly volatile realm of nuclear propulsion, a single operational failure could result in a catastrophic loss of life and massive national security implications. Obviously, this guy. Right. When he built the nuclear navy, Rickover refused to trust that safety protocols, once written, would be followed indefinitely. He was a very smart man. To ensure the safety of nuclear submarines, Rickover instituted an unrelenting cadence of personal physical inspections of shipyards and vessels, refusing to rely on written reports to verify procedural compliance. He physically placed himself inside the shipyards and submarines, exhaustively auditing the execution of procedures and demanding absolute compliance to the letter of the manual. When something is super important, when the system is super important because it, maybe it's running your entire organization, you pay much attention to it. You pay a lot of attention to it so that the mistakes that happen are immediately solved, and so that they are solved before they even happen, right? And that just is done just by you optimizing it. So if, for example, once every 2 weeks, once every week, you schedule an hour to review all of your systems, how well are they running, and maybe you discover that they're running perfectly, amazing, but do it the next week, because maybe in that week something had happened that your employees didn't tell you of, and there are problems, right? Or maybe the employees themselves don't even know that some software is not running, or something happened, some step is not going well. Maybe client manager forgot to do something with the client, right? Message him, and you have to discover that as the CEO, as the leader of the company. Now, to maintain an error-free operation, you must apply immense diligence. Founders must establish a rigid schedule review cadence to systematically re-verify old failure points. Do you remember what I said earlier about the control fallacy? This is how you break it forever, if you just schedule review cadence reviews. The compounding fixes into harder to break operation. Route compounding fixes into harder to break operation is step 6, and I really enjoy reading about this one because I have learned much from it myself, and when I was doing the research I found out many interesting facts, so let's talk about it right now. So the ultimate goal of system thinking is compounding leverage, right? When a founder successfully identifies an error in your company, for example, documents the root cause, as you should, that day, and builds a permanent physical or systemic fix, the specific failure point is permanently sealed, right? So this is how you really solve the mistake, document it, and make sure that it doesn't happen again. Because there's going to be the step so that it prevents the mistake from happening, so that people don't go to you, how do I solve this mistake, right? Or so that you don't have to constantly tell them, okay, this is the solution, this is the solution. Just document it once and it's there. Now, during the 16th century, the Venetian arsenal was the most powerful and highly organized industrial site in Europe. They were a killer. I have no idea what they were doing there. They were killers. So I'll tell you right now, and not killers in a sense of killing, but in a sense of absolute units of people. So they were capable of producing one fully equipped ship per day. One fully equipped ship per day. Can you imagine that? An astonishing feat of manufacturing unmatched until the Industrial Revolution. Venetian engineers standardized ship components and created a flow ship by towing hulls down a canal to sequential outlifting stations, compounding efficiencies to produce nearly one warship per day. Instead of keeping the ship in one dry dock and having various artisans bring their tools to the vessel, a chaotic project shop approach, the arsenal towed the completed hulls down the central canal to highly specialized sequential stations. By compounding standardized parts with a sequential assembly line by canal, the Venetians eradicated the logistical friction of shipbuilding. As these sealed failure points accumulate over months and years, the operation becomes exponentially harder to break. Each fixed step served as a stable foundation for the next, transitioning the business from a very chaotic, reactive entity constantly putting fires out. They transitioned into an impenetrable fortress of efficiency. And this story actually reminded me of Henry Ford and his company and the assembly line, because he's most famous for that, which obviously was amazing and it worked wonders. Now, what is the conclusion of this story? Well, the conclusion of the whole of everything right here, because we are approaching the end, we're approaching the conclusion where we're going to summarize everything that we learned, and we're going to really actually discover some new things. The ultimate evolution of a founder is the realization that operational chaos is not a badge of honor, nor it is an unavoidable reality of running a business. It is simply the symptom of relying on human emotion and memory rather than engineered systems. When the founder stops getting angry at the inevitable statistical reality of human error and instead begins viewing mistakes as free diagnostic data, the business fundamentally transforms. By applying the principle of Shiego Shingo to physically mistake-proof workflows, utilizing the post-mortem rigidity of the US Army to capture data before memory decays, and fostering psychological safety of an Alan Muley to surface hidden friction, a business will eradicate repeating errors, so that you remove yourself from the operations. The transition from a stressed firefighter to a systemic architect is not achieved through working longer hours or demanding greater concentration from employees. It is achieved by permanently altering the operational environment, compounding one small verifiable fix upon another until the system becomes vastly superior to the sum of its parts. How good is that? This is how you break the control fallacy. This is how you build a permanent legacy. Now, in the beginning of the video, I promised to deliver the exact blueprint to step back from your business, and I just did. So thank you for your time. And this is Alexander the Great, by the way. This is a mosaic of him. I don't know if he really looks like this, but it's a cool picture. Anyway, in the description of the video should be more free value for you that you can use to grow your business and make more money with it and free your time. That was it for today's video. Hope you found it valuable, and I will see you very soon. In the meantime, stay safe and pursue greatness.